Mike. Melissa, you look absolutely gorgeous tonight. So, real glad to see everybody out here tonight. And so about 4 months ago, Mike came to me and said, I'd like to go over the groomsmen list with you. And I said, no problem, Mike. So we met up, and he starts going through the names of the groomsmen, and I don't see my name on there. So I'm a little nervous, and he continues on, going through the rest of the names, and I still don't see my name. And I thought we were best friends. So it gets all the way to the end, and he says, Steve, you don't see your name on here because you're going to be the best man. And I said, Mike, you got a lot of great guys here in this wedding. Why would you choose me? And he said, that's easy, Steve. 2 reasons. Number 1, you're the best looking guy I know. Number 2, you're also the smartest. So at that point, I looked at Mike and said, you forgot number 3, and that's successful. So I promised Mike I wouldn't drag out too many of his crazy stories. So me and Mike have known each other roughly about 20 years now. We met in the 7th grade, and one particular memory comes to mind in that 7th grade is that me and Mike were walking to class. The teacher was Mr. Wall. And on the way to class, Mike notices a big piece of wood sticking out of the ground with a pink flag sticking off it, marking something. Mike walks over to this big piece of wood sticking out of the ground, yanks it out of the ground, proceeds on to class. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I guess that's normal. So we get into class. Mike's sitting on one side, I'm sitting on the other. The teacher had separated us at some point for, I guess, talking too much or something. About 10 minutes into class, I start hearing a loud banging noise. And I'm wondering, what is this noise here? I'm looking around. I thought somebody threw something at the building or something. But this noise just continues on and on. Other students are looking around. Nobody can figure it out. Finally, I look over, and there's Mike with this big piece of wood banging it on the desk as hard as he can, making all sorts of racket. So I guess the teacher at that point had enough of it, walks over to Mike, yanks the stick out of his hand, breaks the stick in 2, sends Mike outside to go count airplanes. So that was a nice way of the teacher saying, get the hell out of my class. So at that point, I'm laughing so hard, teacher looks over at me, Mr. Hollis, why don't you go ahead and join your friend out there and go count some airplanes? And I think that's where our friendship began, sitting outside the classroom. So we continued to hang out, and through junior high school and into high school, we hung at each other's houses, and we'd swim at each other's pools and ride bikes and get into all sorts of trouble. And then into high school, I picked up a bass guitar. Mike picked up a guitar, and for those that don't know, Mike is absolutely a phenomenal guitarist. If you ever heard him play, but we had the bright idea that we would become rock stars, and this was going to be it. We're going to make tons of money and tour the world and be musicians. I don't know what we were thinking at the time, but soon after high school, Mike left for the Air Force, and we stayed in touch, and I had high hopes, and I thought Mike was going to become like a Top Gun pilot or something like that, and everything was going to be good. And his stint was up in the Air Force, and he came back, and I think the only thing the Air Force taught him was how to drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes. So Mike came out of the Air Force with a bachelor's degree in drinking, and and that's when he began his career at Red Lobster. So here's Mike. Mike wasn't in the best of shape. He was overweight. He was driving a car that I don't think he could give away. Working at Red Lobster. And I think honestly a lot of us just thought, what, this is it for Mike. This is as good as it's going to get. Maybe he'll be assistant to the assistant manager or something. I'm not sure. But, after that, I think something changed. And I think like most, Mike got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And he knew he needed to make some changes in his life. So I get a call one day that Mike went out for a run. And I said, run from where? Run from the police? Or what's going on here? So Mike set out and started to make some changes in his life. And I have to admit, I was quite jealous at the time. And, it inspired me to, I see my best friend over here doing this. And I said, it inspired me to start making some changes in my life also. So Mike continued on. He ran his first Gate River run. Nobody thought he could do it, but he did. And Mike was really taking accountability for himself. He wasn't passing the blame on everybody else. He was taking in his own actions, taking accountability for them. And, his life really started to change. And I can honestly say now Mike's run over 6 full marathons. He's run over 5,000 miles. He's graduated from college. He bought himself a house. He got himself a nice car. Everything was really falling into place for Mike. And at one point, one distinctive memory that comes to mind that I'll never forget is at a certain point in my life, I didn't have a place to live. And Mike opened up his house to me and let me stay with him. I lived with Mike for about a year. And I'd say it was some of the best times I ever had. I was finishing up. He inspired me to go to school. I was finishing up my degree. We were training full time. We ran our first marathons together. We both gotten sober together, and it was a great thing. And I'll never forget the late night conversations that we had, inspiring each other to do the right thing and take accountability for each of our own actions, and continue on and push forward. Melissa, you really make Mike complete, and I don't know what he would do without you. I'm very happy for both of you, and I wish you, both happiness, love, and success. And Mike, thank you for choosing me to be your best man tonight. It's been a real honor, and I can honestly stand here tonight and truly say you've been a brother to me, you've been a best friend, you've been a mentor, and an inspiration to not only me, but to many others in this room tonight. With that saying, a toast. Congratulations to Mike and Melissa. Thank you.
So Melissa basically grew up at my house. I come from a very conservative household, old school parents, and her house was the only house I was allowed to stay the night at. And she was always around me and my family as well. And I know that my family definitely adopted her as a fourth child, my parents, down to my mom feeding her cough syrup when she was sick, spoon feeding her. But I remember the day so clearly. Melissa sent me a text message of her and Michael, and that was how I learned about Michael, and she was completely smitten by him. I immediately saw the text message and called her, and I think we probably talked about Michael for the next hour. She was just, in love over Michael. And the first time I met him, I could completely see why. He is just a loving, humble, good-hearted, warm person. And the way that they just look at each other, I could just see how much they had fallen for one another. So it's no surprise to me that 2 years later, here we are at their wedding. Together, they became a beautiful family with Mason, and now they've welcomed a beautiful baby girl, Maddie, into the family, who completely is just a joy, and she completes them. She really does. And I couldn't be happier for the both of you. Really. Congratulations. I really love the both of you. I'm so excited to see what the future has in hold for the both of you. And I'm so happy that Melissa has chosen a wonderful man to walk beside her this long journey called life. Okay, guys? So a true love story has no ending, only a beautiful beginning. And I wish both of you the best. Congratulations.